Hey, friends, we are super excited here, Authentic Connection South Florida, because we have some amazing events coming up with our beloved Amy Silverman, who's the founder of the Connection Movement out of New York. Amy, and we're about to dive into the first amazing event. It's an authentic leadership intensive coming up next weekend. It's November 17th, 18th, and 19th. So rather than just read some pretty words about it, we thought we would make this incredible video so we could get right to the heart of it and answer a bunch of questions and really feel the energy of what we're stepping into. So Amy, tell us a little bit about what's coming up.
Sure. So the Authentic Leadership Intensive is focused on supporting anyone in the ways they show up as a leader in their lives. So that could mean as a parent, it could mean as a teacher, as a manager, but also looking at the idea that we're actually leading all the time. We're leading ourselves, and in doing that, we're having a ripple effect in the world around us. And so simply the way we communicate and the way we engage with people is leading and defining all the dynamics around us. So this intensive supports you in being deliberate and intentional about how you show up in the world.
Beautiful. I love what you're saying about inner leadership. That we don't necessarily have to have the role of a leader as we would think of it in the immediate thought, but that we're always in a space of leading ourselves in our own lives and how this can serve us in that way.
Yeah, just the way we communicate and ask for what we want at a restaurant, the way we communicate with our partners or our roommates is leading ourselves and others into maybe more empathic experiences, more conscious experiences, more awareness about our impact in the world. So we actually go into skills and tactics and embodiment of this way of being.
It's beautiful. So I know we're all here. We have a lot of questions. I want to just open the space if anybody wants to jump in with any specific questions about what we can expect for the weekend.
I wanted to speak into, Amy, in your own words. I've experienced it, but from your own words, what differentiates this style of leadership? Because right now I feel like we're in a time when there's a lot of different leadership programs, a lot of different coaching things. So in your words, what makes this leadership experience coming from the facet of authentic relating distinct from other leadership trainings?
I love that question. I think one of the distinctions is around this concept of self-leadership, and that it's not about needing to be at the front of a room or designated a particular role to see ourselves as a leader and to regard our impact on other people the way we would if we were assigned a leadership role. I think that's one piece. Another piece is that I'm a huge, huge proponent of true, authentic communication and expression. And so this isn't about tricks and tips of how to create certain results or try to generate certain outcomes. This is about learning how to really meet the present moment and fully embody and embrace what's alive in you and what you perceive in others in such a way that you can help advance or grow or shift what's happening through your vulnerability and through your true expression. So there's not a power differential in this kind of leadership. Now, of course, the moment someone is maybe paying to be in a space with you, there is some societal power differential just in that they're heeding they're yielding to you in some way. But this approach is about leading from within rather than leading from above or hierarchy.
Mm, thank you. That was beautiful.
Mm. I'm curious, you said that you have your own experience of it. I wonder how you would say it.
My experience of authentic relating is that it has been coming from a hot space. I think you spoke into that a lot in your description. And I've done a lot of self improvement work, especially in this last year. And authentic connection has definitely held a unique space for me because it is so in tune with the moment. It has this level of like intuition, this level of connection, this level of community,
Mm-hmm.
and this level of leadership that, like you said, is not from a power dynamic, but more from a space of connection. And that's been my experience time and time again. And that's what consistently brings me back to this work.
Mm.
Hmm. Amy, I think there will be some questions from people, and I am also curious about what this next weekend will look like specifically. The activities and yes.
So yeah, the structure of this weekend is really special. It's sort of bookended. On the first evening, we have an experience that's we start off together as a group the participants in the leadership intensive are together for just a couple of hours, and then we open up the space to include the public and anyone who wants to join us for what I call a connection lab. And in a connection lab, we use different exercises, games, structures that last anywhere from 3 or 4 minutes to even 20 minutes or 20 and 25 minutes. And we explore the theme of leadership through these experiences, through these topics. So there are experiences that are done in pairs. There are sharing exercises that are done in the full group, in small groups. Some are quite playful. Some are a bit more maybe vulnerable or tender. So that's the first night, where what my intention on that night is that the participants in the Authentic Leadership Intensive, or I like to call it ALI for short, so if you hear me saying that, that's what I'm referring to, is their role that night is a dual role. They're there as participants in experiencing this exploration of leadership, but also having one eye on me as a facilitator and taking note of, oh, look how she just got everyone to pay attention when it was really loud in the room. Or look how we just broke into groups and then she gave the instructions, but people forgot what the instructions were from before. That didn't work so well. Or just sort of observing from a facilitator's eye and watching the leadership with some critique even, so that then when we get together Saturday morning, we actually debrief the night before and look at what was the arc of the evening, how did these things build on each other, or even being able to ask me, was that intentional when you did that, because that worked out really well, or hey Amy, how else would you have gotten the attention of the room after the break if it didn't work the way that you thought? So we start to take everything apart together, and that's where we're sort of looking at our both leadership and our facilitation, because I do believe that the two are very different. I think that you can be a great leader and a so-so facilitator, and you can be a fantastic facilitator and maybe not a very powerful leader. So this weekend is about cultivating both. And after we've done some exercises together, building some skills around leadership and around facilitation, things like setting context, things like understanding how to cohere a group, how to shape an experience, then each participant in the ALI will get a designated slot of time during which they lead an experience. And I will provide a manual to you that was compiled by one of my peers who's down in Austin, Texas named Sarah Ness, and she's put together this amazing manual of authentic games. And you'll have a chance to lead us in an experience and then get the feedback of the group about how you're showing up, also about your facilitation, and from me about how I see your strengths as a leader, and also ways that you can someone shared this title with me the other day, said your strengths and your future strengths.
Oh, I love that.
So we spent quite a bit of time on that on Saturday and early Sunday, and then the second part of Sunday, we dive into working collaboratively to create an experience that will facilitate together, that all the participants in the ALI will facilitate. Well, they'll set the theme, they'll set the context, they'll frame the exercises and lead the exercises, and they'll also be responsible for inviting and generating the participants that join us that night. So they get that experience of, hey, if I want to step out and lead and facilitate, I've got to do something to get people there to lead. So then we do another connection lab facilitated by the ALI students, and that's sort of like a graduation. And the last bit is that Monday night we spend an hour on Zoom, just like this, to debrief Sunday night, because usually there's a bit of a buzz Sunday night and people have friends or guests or family there, and they don't want to sit down and debrief at that point. So we just regroup on Monday and share. And I always love that Monday because I get to hear, oh my gosh, I tried that thing with my employee and they're totally on board now. Or, wow, I had that conversation with my boss and I spoke from a vulnerable place and they were really responsive. And I start to hear that people are taking what they've learned out into their lives in just some of the simplest ways, and discovering that all the ways that they are leaders from moment to moment. And yeah, so that was kind of a long answer, but it's all the details that you could expect.
It's really nice.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Something about this work that's so powerful is how experiential, how embodied it really is. So it's not just a whole lot of talk, even though there's explanation involved, but it really gives us a chance to experience it on every level of our being. And then, like you were saying, being able to take it into, the yoga environment, the corporate environment, and everything in between.
Mm-hmm.
It really has a place everywhere, especially right now in our world, where we're feeling so disconnected, where, digital media and all of these distractions are pulling us away from each other. So this is a chance to get face to face with people, to really be present, to really see each other, to hear each other, to recognize ourselves in relationship to each other. It's powerful work. And to deepen our skills as facilitators, and that's, the world needs leaders creating leaders.
Yes. Yeah. So being
Amy,
go ahead, Claudia.
I just wanted to, I love how this conversation is going. And I was curious, Amy, what does it mean for you to be an authentic leader?
Beautiful.
For me, to be an authentic leader, it means that I am committed to presence and welcoming what is arising in the moment, meeting it with what's here in me, and stepping forward into something that evolves out of that, the alchemy of the meeting of me and the moment. And the moment may be with an individual and it may be with a group. But if I'm true and vulnerable and forthcoming, then however uncomfortable or difficult a communication or a transition may be, I can trust that it's going to unfold with integrity. And to me, that's what being an authentic leader is.
Yeah. Exciting. Well, I know that we're going to wrap up. We're going to wrap up here in a minute, but if anybody else has any thoughts or questions, or Amy, if you have any last words you want to put around this, we're going to put a link with this video so you guys can click on it and read more details. But we just really wanted to give you a live sense of how excited we are and what we're stepping into with Amy guiding this beautiful weekend coming up.
I love, maybe in closing, it may be nice to hear, just to share, because this is an interesting group of people, with me leading the connection movement, being really focused on facilitation and leadership and community building, but maybe for each of you to share your world of work or study and how you see this relates, because this isn't, I don't, like you said, this belongs in so many environments and settings, and it might be nice to share kind of what worlds we're each in, and also what kinds of people we imagine really benefiting from this work. Maybe Chelsea, would you chime in first?
I felt that coming. Talking about present in the moment. Sure. So for those of you who don't know me, I do social work. Specifically, my interest is at-risk youth. And this work has completely, the places that inside of me that I'm able to access because of what I've learned from this work has completely enriched my sessions. It has completely transformed the way that I relate to other people. The depth of compassion that I'm able to bring forth when I'm relating to someone else, for me personally, has taken my vision and my passion for helping others to a whole other level. And I've seen it transform just my relationships with my clients. And I genuinely see a huge place for this work in social work. I think right now social work right now is very disconnected from the heart, and I really have this beautiful vision of bringing in transformational work and authentic relating into the realm of social work, not just to at-risk youth, but also to the providers who serve them, because my experience is that they too are disconnected, and then the results, it reflects in that. It reflects in the lack of relationship, the lack of compassion. So my vision is to bring it forth both to those clients as well as the providers. And it has just tremendously benefited me, not just personally in my own relationships, but in how I relate to those that I work with. And I'm genuinely so grateful for this work, and that I can't even begin to speak the difference that it's made. So thank you.
Yeah, and I'm hearing in what you just said, to even boil it down to sort of a broader stroke, individuals who work with youth and also people who work in team in any setting, that this can influence for the better the way those relationships work and our capacity to be with other people. So if you're in a helping profession or a people profession, that there's an alignment there.
Definitely, 100%. I think this type of work and the tenets of this work, to me, should be mandatory if you have an intention to work with people. Yeah, I know that's a big one, but that's part of the vision. And I'm complete.
So I teach mindful performance to companies. That was beautiful, Chelsea. Thank you. And so I bridge yoga and mindfulness and corporate environments. And when I look at my fellow yoga teachers, there are opportunities to become better. Always, right? Always an opportunity to become better at facilitating what? Retreats, holding this space. This is a great opportunity to learn to hold the energy of the space in a very present and intentional way. And also even to be more aware and responsive in the yoga classes. So every time that I interface with this type of work, I learned something very subtle and new about myself. Like Chelsea was saying, it's very much beyond words. And so there's definitely an opportunity to come into the space and have whatever needs to show up in order for you to learn that thing about yourself that can continue to help you grow. Because I think as yoga teachers, we're providing experiences for others, and it's also important that we're challenged. And in group settings like this leadership intensive, there's the opportunity to be with others in our learning and to receive feedback and to see our blind spots where we might not see them. And our students won't always tell us, so it's good to be in the space of people who are that's what we're here to do, is to support each other and grow together. So that on the yoga teaching side. And then on the other side, corporate, if you are in corporate or you are in a company, we were talking prior to the call about surrendered leadership, right? So when we step into the space of being an authentic leader, it doesn't mean that we're necessarily in front of the room, but that we're able to use our voice to express, we're able to be fully present, we're able to command presence and attention in a gentle and beautiful way. And so I definitely see Amy as someone who does that very well. And so I'm really excited to learn more just in being with your being, Amy. Yeah, so that I can continue to grow in the application of this work in the corporate spaces that I go into. So I'm complete. Thank you. We should probably say your name. Like I said, my name's Jessica.
So my name's Claudia, and I've worked in technology and IT for about 15 years as a project manager and business analyst, and I currently work now as an agilist and agile coach. And I'm very dear and near to this work. This work has very much transformed my life, my relationship with friends, with family, with myself, and how I see this work in the world, especially in the world of agile coaching and technology and corporate world, is how much it is about people and building teams that are open, that trust each other, that really connect and communicate with one another. And if any, in the corporate world, if you want to have a successful organization, a successful project, it's all boiling on how the people connect and communicate with one another. And I feel that this work is very essential to bring that into the world. So I'm very happy that you're bringing these leadership workshop down to South Florida. And I'm complete.
Beautiful. It's so nice to hear from all of you in the ways that this work has moved you, and I resonate with all of that as well. So for me, I've done so many things and I realized, in sitting with what is the deepest purpose that drives me in the ways that I show up, and it has to do with being a connector, so holding space for connection. And that has shown up in, large scale transformational events that most people know me for, or smaller, more intimate events, coaching, group work, individuals, all kinds of things. And for me, it always really comes down to how do we connect with ourselves? How do we connect with each other? And then in an expansive sense, how do we connect with the larger world? Recognizing ourselves as an earth community, recognizing ourselves in the beautiful evolution, the mystery of life and how that ties into who we are. And I can feel the intensity of our world happening right now, that evolution happens under the greatest amount of pressure. And we're really in this incredible moment. Really, it's an incredible invitation. And so for me, this work I've been facilitating connection work for a long time. And specifically this work that I just, stepped into in the last few years with you, Amy, and the rest of you guys, being able to collaborate and connect here in South Florida around this work, it's been really incredible, because it's one of the most amazing tools that I found to allow us to connect with each other, like purely knowing ourselves in relationship to the other. Knowing ourselves. And that is what it's all about, because we grow so deep in relationships. We grow exponentially in relationship. And so being able to show up in the most honest and authentic way with whatever's there, even if it doesn't feel so good, being able to call ourselves out and each other out and be there without judgment and hold each other in that space with love, it creates such an intense feeling of centeredness. And it gives us access to possibility and potential for not just our own personal evolution, but our collective growth together as community. And that feels more powerful than anything. So, I mean, I could go on forever, but I'm not going to, because I think I just captured the heart of it, and I really wanted to just sit in this essence. So, Amy, with that said, and with every beautiful word and emotion and authentic share that's happened in this space, we are so excited to have you here, basically for the next month. Starting with this leadership intensive and many other events that we're going to share with all of you guys. But we're really honored to have you, and we just adore you. You hold such a powerful presence, and you create this work from the inside out, and we can feel it. And we're just so excited to learn more with you and share you with the world.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to see all of you. And I'm going bathing suit shopping this weekend.
Yeah.
So get me some good weather.
Almost guaranteed in the winter in Florida. You're good.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Thanks, everybody. I look forward to seeing you soon and meeting all of the folks who are watching this video and decide to join us.
That's right. And don't forget, you guys, there's going to be a link with this video, so you can click on that to read about more information and stay connected. All right.
Bye.
Guys.
For now.